At start we see an eagle flying over Linen City, and our protagonist with a confused face was staring at that sexy legs. While he was trying to figure out the situation, someone comes barging in through the door asking about his sister's whereabouts. Also, the person ends up being his brother-in-law, though our protagonist itself was confused about the whole thing. Moreover, it seems that at his wedding night Shu Wuzhou climbed into another woman's bed. Seeing him with another woman, his brother-in-law wasn't able to control his anger and kicked him so hard that our protagonist landed directly outside thinking what just happened. But it seems Shu Wuzhou is quite famous in the city for being useless, and he was only able to survive because of the marriage contract with Qin family. As the crowd was criticizing him, our protagonist realized that he had crossed into another world, and also the memories of the real host came surging in. Upon opening his eyes, Shu Wuzhou finds himself inside a glowing golden bowl. Same time an old face from behind pops up, and it was just like Colossal Titan from Attack on Titan anime. Anyways, seeing such a big face, Shu Wuzhou got so scared that his hair left his head and started saying, "Monster, don't eat me," as he hadn't showered for a year. Also, he never cleans his ass when he goes to the toilet. But after seeing clearly, it ends up being an old man who was trying to use that reincarnation bowl for past 3,000 years. Yet our protagonist took the advantage and reincarnated himself. Hearing his words, Shu Wuzhou mocked him, saying he wasn't out of luck, instead he has a bad luck. But the old man didn't have much time and his soul was about to disappear. So he asked him to stop talking nonsense and listen to him, while he was telling him the way to repair the bowl of reincarnation through making it devour metals in its speciality. Shu Wuzhou wasn't able to pay attention to any of his instructions as he wasn't able to bear with his legs smell. While the old man was about to tell him the 6th rule, Shu Wuzhou punched him, saying his legs stink. But the old man got mad and said, "How can you hit your master who has given you so many things?" Hearing him, our guy also got angry and said, "When did I become your disciple?" While they were arguing with each other, the old guy realized his time is up, so before he gets completely annihilated, he passed down his legacy to Shu Wuzhou. And when Wuzhou was inspecting the martial arts, the same smell went into his nose and he was about to faint because of the stink. But the old man apologized to him before he disappeared. While Shu Wuzhou was cursing him, he regained his consciousness, though he thought it was a dream. But after seeing the martial arts in his head, Shu Wuzhou got excited and shouted, "I will return back the favor." And seeing him yell, the surrounding people were startled and thought he has gone crazy, so they ignored him and went on their merry way. While he was thinking how unlucky the original host was, the same time he heard his stomach growling, and upon hearing that, Shu Wuzhou thought it would be best if he filled his stomach first, so he arrived at Shan Brothel. Upon arriving near brothel, we see large number of beauties with big melons coming out to greet Shu Wuzhou. While the women was talking about him getting married, our guy was feeling bad for his eel. At that time a football comes rolling out and took Shu Wuzhou in the brothel. They presented him with variety of dishes, and as our main lead was hungry, he decided to fill his stomach first. While the girls were trying to seduce him to play with their new move, it happened again and someone broke the door, but this time the person who has crush on his wife came in while asking, "How can you treat your wife like this?" While the surrounding people were talking about his worthlessness, Wei jumped above the table and almost sliced his eel into pieces. Even then he didn't stop there and went for his head. But as Shu Wuzhou was struggling to survive, his hands caught the blade and it got devoured by the reincarnation bowl. Furthermore, when Wei was still trying to process the situation, Shu Wuzhou realized his strength has increased and the old geezer didn't lie to him. Later, when he was asking about his sword's whereabouts, Shu Wuzhou took the opportunity and punched him, saying, "Go to hell and ask." As he had bullied him in past, he took this chance and settled the old score. Wei still refused to believe the unacceptable situation, so Shu Wuzhou in style throwed a quote of Lu Xuan. "The process doesn't matter, the winner is the king," and smacked him into the ground. Everyone was surprised by his move, and Shu Wuzhou's soul was having party inside his body for taking revenge. But at that time a person from behind called his name, and just by hearing the voice Shu Wuzhou immediately realized the person being his father-in-law. Furthermore, the people nearby started mocking his Qin family for having a worthless son-in-law. Seeing the situation, Shu Wuzhou tried to clarify the incident by saying, "Would you believe if I was here to eat?" Hearing him, his father-in-law immediately say, "Don't think I don't know what's a brothel is, and even I haven't." Just at that moment Mr. Qin stopped there as he almost gave his weakness out. Upon hearing, Shu Wuzhou tried to take advantage of the situation, but his father-in-law slapped him, saying, "Don't talk nonsense," but the people already knew about his nickname, Xuanfeng, on the bed. That made Qin Shu really embarrassed. At the same time, a woman from the crowd attracted everyone's attention, and as she came close to Shu Wuzhou, he immediately figured out that the person standing in front of him is his wife Qin Qingmo. While he was cursing his previous body owner about how can he sleep with a prostitute when he has such a beautiful wife, other people were getting ready for a great show. Also, someone from the crowd even bet if she didn't cancel the marriage he will eat poop, but to their surprise she was worried about him and asked if it hurts. Seeing that everyone was in a daze and Shu Wuzhou realized the woman was really nice to the original owner. So he replied with a smile on his face that it hurt at first, but after seeing her it doesn't hurt anymore. Upon hearing, Qing Mo immediately retrieved her hand and said, if you were okay then let's go home. While the crowd was saying how big her heart is, a really handsome man stopped them, and it seems she knows that person. Moreover, that man immediately started to mock Shu Wuzhou for hiding behind a woman, but they didn't know that the body is same but the soul is different. So Shu Wuzhou came out saying, you look quite good with that poop head of yours. Guang Ping asked him to stop talking nonsense, and there's a competition from big families, does he dare to accept his challenge? Also, if he loses the competition, Shu Wuzhou has to stay away from Qing Mo. Hearing him, our protagonist also said that he doesn't like to bait on his women, but he will accept his challenge as anyone who wants his wife deserves to die. Seeing him standing up for her, his wife was happy, so Shu Wuzhou grabbed her hand and took her away. And while Guang Ping was thinking why are his words so loud, at that time in the background we see the men who made the bet trying to live up to his word. Upon arriving to the Qin family palace, Mr. Qin was saying, how can you do such a despicable thing which has led to the disgrace of Qin family? Hearing him, Shu Wuzhou replied with full confidence for not to worry, and he will do his best in the future because he has the black reincarnation bowl for him to practice. But his father-in-law didn't believe him because the previous host has scammed him many times. Seeing that, his mother-in-law also got worried about how can we have such a son-in-law. At that time Qing Mo came in saying we are already married and she will help him reject the bet with the Xie family as it is related to life and death. Also said that he needs to change his mindset. Seeing her reaction, Shu Wuzhou got excited and asked her does she care about him while wagging his tail. But Qing Mo got embarrassed and turned back saying you deal with your problem. Moreover, when he was about to stop her, a black Medusa-looking shadow popped out and asked him to stay. Upon asking why he was stopped, his father-in-law gave him the punishment to stay in the warehouse and not to leave without his permission. Hearing that, Shu Wuzhou ran like a flash, and just after he left, Mr. Qing was worried about his match, because the Mao family and Li family, they have recruited people who can use sword will. While he was returning to the warehouse, Shu Wuzhou hears their conversation, and thinks about the sword determination given by the old man would be helpful to the Qin family. At that time there was a ruckus outside and someone comes barging in the Qin palace. Hearing the noise, Mr. Qin comes out saying who dares to break the door of Qin family. Upon seeing it, ends up being the two hoots of the Mao and Li family, and they are here to negotiate the merge of Qin family's weapon industry. Hearing him, Mr. Qin said, what makes you think you can take my family's weapons? The old geezer also replied with full confidence that 70% of buyers in the city have invested in their companies, and besides your family doesn't have products with sword determination. Mr. Qin said that his family also has the will of sword. Seeing his reply, both the hoots asked him to show it as there are so many people here and he wouldn't want to sully his family's name. But Mr. Qin only has the newest imitation and it can't be guaranteed that it can match their sword will. But as the family's name was online, Mr. Qin asked his subordinate to bring the swords out. The person also said the same thing, but still Mr. Qin asked him to bring them out. Alas, from a far distance Shu Wuzhou was spying on them and had heard everything. So he decided to help his father-in-law and went to the place where the swords are kept. But wait a minute, is that Zangetsu and Kirito's sword? It seems the Qin family were the one who stole it. While he was checking the sturdiness, the sword determination gets applied to the sword in his hand. That moment Shu Wuzhou thought about, as the swords are made of metal he can swallow it. But someone comes in and says at a time when Qin family is in critical moment you still want to steal the swords. Hearing him, Shu Wuzhou replied that you have misunderstood and that he wanted to help him bring the sword out and show them that Qin family also has good products. After applying sword determination, he tells his acquaintance to quickly help him carry the swords out. Later in the courtyard, Mr. Qin asks them to check the quality of the swords. While both the party were nervous, one of the old hoot came out swinging his sword. Moreover, when this three people were having different thoughts, the result was out and it seems fate was on the Qin family's side. Everyone was surprised, even Mr. Qin couldn't believe the situation. The people were sorry for doubting them, but the old geezer weren't able to comprehend the situation. At that moment Mr. Qin comes from back asking about what are you whispering. The old hoot's mood changed like a weather and said it was just a misunderstanding, so they will go first. However, before they can leave, Shu Wuzhou stepped in and asked them to stop. Shu Wuzhou asked them, after you tried to destroy my Qin family products and also broke the front door, do you still want to leave like that? After hearing him, the two dogs asked him what you want. While Mr. Qin was thinking will he cause problems again, Shu Wuzhou came in front and asked for compensation, only then they will be allowed to leave their family premises. That sent them into shock as he was explaining them about the procedure of compensation. Shu Wuzhou even enticed the crowd to back him up and give a good judgment to his Qin family. Seeing him help the family, Mr. Qin was really happy. At that time the zebra-type old man came out saying you are just a dog raised by the Qin family and asked Qin Mao to show him his place. But Mr. Qin got mad and said Shu Wuzhou is my son-in-law. Seeing that the other spiky head told the zebra to not make it more complicated as he has the crowd support and we should give the money to avoid bad reputation. Later they both handed 10,000 taels, but Shu Wuzhou was a demon in disguise and said, "You misunderstood, I said each have to pay 10,000. They became reluctant, so Mr. Chin brought out his special armed force. While Shu Wuzhou was thinking that this place is bad for his life, they both paid the compensation. He also gave them another offer as there are many antique in his house, even the dog next to them is worth 52,000 taels, but the cockroaches without head are only 100 taels. In the end they couldn't take it anymore and ran away. Well, we will end the video here. Make sure to subscribe for more parts and new manhwas. Until then, stay safe and healthy. Sayonara.